New videos every day.
Life, wisdom.
Welcome. Thank you for tuning in today. My name is Mira Hoffman, and I'm a yoga instructor. Recently, I have been exploring Acro yoga, which is a beautiful fusion between acrobatics and yoga. And I am joined here with Katrina Rettman, who is also a fellow yoga instructor. And today we're going to show you some really basic acro yoga poses that you can practice at home. You'll probably want to find a partner so you can do this with. We also recommend, if this is like your first exploration into acro yoga, it's probably a good thing to have a third person to serve as a spotter, and they can help kind of just make sure you're in the right positions, and also help, you know, if you start to get a little wobbly or maybe feel like you're going to fall, they can help kind of support and make that a little bit more of a gentle transition back to the ground. So to get started, one person gets to be the base and the other person gets to be the flyer. So I'm going to be the base today and Katrina's going to be my flyer. So I'm going to lay down on the mat and Katrina is going to come down and stand at my feet. So as we're standing here, Katrina, who's my flyer, she's going to walk up towards my hand so I can feel her little toes. And basically that just means that she's nice and close. As a base, you want to place your feet on the hips of your flyer, just like how you were doing airplane when you were a little kid. So this is a nice little move. And what you're going to do is you're going to cradle the flyer's hips in the arch of your foot. And again, you may need to play with this based on the weight distribution of your flyer. It may feel more natural to have it a little bit higher or a little bit lower, but just explore it and see how it feels for you. And on the weight distribution of your flyer, it may feel more natural to have it a little bit higher or a little bit lower, but just explore it and see how it feels for you and your base and your flyer. The next thing I'm going to do is put my hands up. This is a nice receptive position for Katrina, my flyer, to come forward to. As a base, I'm going to point my fingers outwards, and the flyer is going to have her fingers forward. So flyer's fingers forward. That's a good way to remember it. And then to come into the flying position, Katrina is going to just slowly start to lay her weight and just really come forward. And just let it all lean in. Coming up off the ground. I'm noticing I'm a little bit off on her hips, so it's kind of was a little awkward entrance, but hopefully, how does that feel now? Okay. So once we're in position, you kind of just want to check and make sure you're doing some bone stacking. So what bone stacking means is having these nice strong lines, and it makes it ergonomical for everyone involved. So you can see how my wrists are over my shoulders. So we got a nice strong line, and that reaches into the flyer's hands and up into her shoulders. So we have a nice strong table foundation here. Same thing goes for my legs. So I want my ankles to be over my hips, and then my feet connect into Katrina's hips. So you can see we got a nice strong powerhouse here. As the flyer is here, we can work on different isolations to help build stability and strength. So Katrina, my flyer, can start to raise one arm, shifting the weight into the 3 other points of the table. And then the other arm. This is actually quite a bit of work, even though it probably doesn't seem like it. And we can do the hips. And I need to adjust just a little bit there. And we're going to do the other hip now. Perfect. Another note, as a base, you don't want to grab too much. So the flyer always wants to have their hands free in case they need to come down. Occasionally, if you're in a movement and you want to kind of reconfigure something, you know, a temporary sort of light hold is fine, but you don't want to be really squeezing the flyer's hands. Another note is with the down word, that's the safe word. So if the base or the flyer or even your spotter says down, everyone needs to come down immediately, because that means something's going on. Maybe something's not comfortable or someone's tired, whatever that may be. So beyond just the individual isolations, we can do isometric balancing. So we can come onto the right arm and the left hip. So nice, strong, really pushing. You can see that really well. And then we're gonna push into the opposite arm and hip, really contracting towards the center. Nice. And then another variation of bird is coming into free bird. So last variation is both arms coming up. As the base, I may need to give her a little bit more toe or more gas. This means that I'm pushing more into the toes to kind of rock the weight back. And now we're coming back to center. So we're gonna come into a more relaxed pose. So we're gonna come into folded leaf, and I'm gonna show you how to transition into this, but we'll also show you how to come into this initially from the floor. So we're gonna shift the weight off of that hip, and then we're gonna do it for the opposite hip. And so basically my feet are just in the fold or the heap off into a more relaxed pose. So we're gonna come into folded leaf, and I'm gonna